Rabbitohs versus the Sharks. Rabbitohs win 26-16. Easily the most shocking performance of the weekend in regards to being like shocked at the Sharks coming out and like defending their asses off and almost looking like a completely different side. They've finally broken their duck and they got the win. Are they back? I'm not sure, but I will say, even though they got completely dominated by the Panthers, they did not stop trying last week against the Panthers. They defended their asses off. They gave everything they could, and I think they got the rewards for it this week, and now they know exactly what is required of them to stay in the top 8. So I still need to see another couple of games, and their run home is an absolute – it's tough. It's pretty tough. Pretty sure I know it's tough. So they might just hang in there, maybe. I don't know. But they've given themselves a chance. Really good win for the Sharkies.
Yeah, good turnaround. Win that I didn't see coming. The only thing that gave me hope was that, and we'll talk about South Sydney soon, just missing a couple of key middles. And it went from bad to worse, unfortunately, for South. But, even if Cronulla win, I didn't expect them to do it in the fashion that they did. Like, once again, I think 26-16 compliments South Sydney. I thought Cronulla were just miles the better side for the vast majority of that game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the Rabbitohs, but my biggest concern is that when the game was on the line, all of a sudden they show what they could do. And you're like, why isn't that from minute 1? Like, everyone's tempo increased. And it's like, so you can do it. We know you can do it, but like, why isn't that attitude being brought into minute 1?
Yeah, the Sharkies, who had their massive defensive issues this season, kept on their day one of the best attacking teams, if not the, got to give it to Penrith, but best attacking side in the competition. We haven't seen it for a while. Scoreless for 61 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that is a remarkable turnaround from them.
Absolutely.
And then on the flip side, as you were sort of getting to, Kempy, but then they come out, the Bunnies, and remind you that, all right, 3 tries in 11 minutes and a couple of the line breaks were devastating. The line break off the kick-off, Tallis Duncan, who was tremendous. 2 sides to, geez, it's hard to get a read on them, isn't it?
Well, I think wasn't it like 60 minutes where they had like no line breaks or a 1 line break, and then they just went bang, 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 4 or 5 line breaks. We'll talk about Sharkies first. Like, what's so good for them about this performance is, like, I'm not sure if they're back, but it shows them, okay, we have it in us. Like, we have this in us. Whereas I think that there might have been, well, I personally, was a lot of questions was like, do they even have it in them? Like, are they even a side that can put together a really good defensive performance against a top-tier side? Now, to be fair, Rabbitohs' completion rate and their penalties was outrageously poor, but they defended their absolute asses off. And so maybe this is all they need to go, you know what? We do have it in us and we can get the job done when we need to. And it could put them in good stead to, at the very least, stay in the 8.
I hope so. I really do.
I would hate for them to fall out.
Yeah,
I really would.
Yeah.
But last week, I would have been like, they're absolutely not staying in. Now I'm like, ooh, I don't know.
Because, like, say what you will and whatever, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people out there anti-Cronulla, but, like, you can't say they're not entertaining to watch. They're great to watch. So I think it's a better final series if Cronulla are at their best. And, as I think it was Billy Slater said last week, even if that means you win 28-26, just have that confidence back.
Yeah.
But they showed against a full throttle South Sydney, obviously missing a few forwards, but you still got your Walkers, your Latrells, Campbell Grahams, Johnson, like star-studded side still, attacking-wise. They held them out for 60 minutes.
And so intriguing. You look at what's changed. The Sharkies' left edge has been their downfall in defence all season and cost them so many results. 2 weeks ago, they went to the tried and tested, the veteran, Wade Graham. 2 80-minute games there. Against Penrith, they conceded 1 try down their left edge where Graham snuck in there.
I actually think that was even Talakai's bad read as well.
Yeah. And then that was against Penrith, best side in the competition. This week against the Bunnies, one of the best attacking sides in the competition, they didn't concede a try down their edge. Yeah. Wade Graham is the thing that's changed there. And there's a few missed tackles, but Wade Graham's always had, we speak on because he flies out of line, tries to put shots on. That can be a little bit misleading, that stat, but in a 2-week sample size, the old boys come in and that side defensively has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
I hope it maintains, but if it can, that makes them a very different side, Cronulla.
Well, then it also changes, I guess, Wade Graham's career because you
Definitely
go, mate, we need to re-sign this guy because he's defensively shores everything up for us. And we speak about it on the podcast nearly every week, but a lot of people look at the 7, the centre and the winger and go, oh, those edges, they're making all these decisions. It all starts with your 4. Your 4-man is the guy that dictates how good your edge is because he's the one constantly communicating, saying, you know, I'm on the 7 or I'm on the wide running forward, you're on him, and then obviously communication back. And so maybe it is Wade Graham's experience that's going to shore the edge up that they need. And maybe they don't need to go into the market just yet. Now, it's, you know, small sample size, but...
Fascinating final month. If that side locks down and defensively is good, it'll change a few things.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if it locks up and becomes good, all of a sudden Talakai can become one of the better centres in the game because, you know, you look at his attacking stats, they're arguably the best attacking stats in the NRL right now for a centre. If you can shore up the defence with an experienced man inside him that says here, here, here. And also, we've got to give credit to Trindle as well. Because Trindle's on that side, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. And so, you know, maybe Trindle's locking up that side for him and making it a little bit easier.
Yep.
You know, they had some wobbles against Manly, but there was a rookie 4 there, and also it was Trindle's first start in a very long time. So, I don't know, maybe Fitzy has somehow clawed his, it's almost like a ship is turning and just to get it to turn back, and who knows, maybe he has.
Interesting this weekend against Gold Coast Titans because, I mean... if he has sort of turned it, Titans are a good side to test themselves against.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the way they're playing.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun game, won't it?
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
He's so good to watch. So good to watch.
And it would be great to see Fitzy and the Sharks not let it be a fun game.
Yeah. Just dominate.
Turn
Yeah.
into a grind.
Yeah.
I thought Katoa was outstanding on the edge there. That footwork on Trell, just like his right foot has always been incredible, Katoa's. And also, he's always been a really good winger. He never really... You know, Mulatalo and Katoa never really get the raps that they deserve, but they genuinely impact games pretty regularly, especially, like, I think Mulatalo, his profile is a little bit bigger, but Katoa, you don't really hear about him that much, but he's a bloody good winger.
I think Mulatalo would be the same as Katoa if he didn't have the Origin fiasco, though. I think that's what put him on the radar for a lot of people.
That's fair. That's fair. And maybe playing for the Kiwis as well now. Yeah. But yeah, Katoa has always been a great winger coming out of his own end. Decent under the high ball, incredible footwork. And look, great. Obviously, Trindle got 2 tries. Like, the good signs for the Cronulla Sharks are if Trindle does become their guy at 6, he's young. So you've got this 6 and 7, at least for the next 3 to 4 years, are going to be playing together. Connor Tracy has been admirable at the back there. I thought it was a great performance. Jesse Ramian, I thought, was outstanding. Just like little things like crabbing across the field the way he does, it just sometimes it can be terrible for your team because you're like, mate, just get to a spot on the field. But if you do it in the right way, like Jesse does, it just creates carnage in the defensive line where they're all out of position.
Yeah.
Who else stood out for you guys in regards to the Sharkies?
Just thought it was a good all-round performance by them, mate. As I said, I didn't see them winning in that fashion, so... thought it was very, as you said, Wade Graham as well. Like I thought 2 weeks ago when the young bloke, Jesse Colquhoun, came in there, I sort of thought, okay, I reckon he'll stay there. He then got suspended, so that's given Wade his opportunity now. And as always with the Sharkies, they have got so much depth there, so if they can just start to steady this ship and keep that form, imagine if the Sharks go from a team that we thought was no hope to play finals footy to a team you don't want to play finals footy, which they could do in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, because their attack is literally the best in the comp.
You don't want,
points
they're
wise.
humming. You don't want to deal with them.
Yeah. So great win for the Sharkies. Really love to see it. Now onto South. Really, really poor. Really surprised that this is what they dished up. And, if you listen to the podcast last week, we alluded to the fact that they didn't look anywhere near what they should look against the Tigers. And you'd almost rather them not score those 3 tries in, 10 minutes or 11 minutes or whatever, because then you go, look, off night in Perth. But when they go and do that, you go, boys, where was this intensity from the start? Like, you're playing to stay in the 8. Look, if there's one team in the comp that 1 week can turn it on and then they just go on this crazy run, it is literally the Rabbitohs. But by God, they got to get it sorted ASAP.
I'm a little bit worried about South Sydney. We've spoken about it for weeks. When they're missing one of Totola or Harmsele, they're a different footy side. They're now missing both of them, Tom Burgess and potentially Jai Arrow. So, when you guys are listening to this, hopefully you'll have Team List Tuesday out by then. But, Matty, what do you reckon? Like, they could start with Havili and Mawali next week.
Yeah, they probably will. I think Arrow, they're saying that they're pretty happy that he will probably play, but we're not sure. Burgess has accepted his plea, so he's definitely out. So either Saluka Fafita or Shaq Mitchell come into the bench, and then, one of those is his start. I assume Jai would start. But yeah, it's looking very thin.
Big few weeks for Cam Murray.
He's going to be bloody working his dick off.
Yeah, we were sitting... We're sitting here after Magic Weekend, and we're telling the story of the Bunnies pumping the Melbourne Storm, and Matty carrying on upstairs Caxton of how he was telling everyone we can't be beaten. Who's going to beat us? He just kept asking who's going to beat us. Since that night, when they led the competition, they've now dropped to 8th and are on equal points with the Cowboys in 10th. So in Matty's defence, he pointed that out to me on the weekend.
So Matty's cursed the Rabbitohs.
Matty, well, yeah, it is what it is.
Got anything to say, mate?
I'm pretty sure since that time, only the Tigers have lost more games than South. South are 3 from 10 in the last 10 weeks. It's it's not great.
3 from 10.
Jesus.
Good God.
And it's funny, you said that South wanted to, where was that last 20 minutes in the first 60? That's the third time that's happened this year. They nearly chased down the Dragons. They nearly chased down the Bulldogs. It's a weird one.
Yeah, even big Trelly Mitt, he actually still got through a decent amount of work, which you love to see. But he didn't look happy like he did the week before. Wasn't a smiling Latrell. The Rabbitohs, whenever you watch them, they always look happy. They always look like they're enjoying their footy. They love being around each other. I just reckon they don't look as happy-go-lucky. And look, they've won only 3 games in 10, so fair. So hopefully they can turn it around, because this would be a travesty if they missed the 8.
Yeah, the other thing was too, mate, that turf out there was so good. It was so fast. That was so suited to South Sydney to play their footy. When I watched, obviously, KP running around, and I thought, oh, my God, South Sydney are going to get out there and be so excited for this game. And they were just the complete opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, the good thing is he's still got Trell running 15 times, 124 metres, 6 tackle breaks. So, he's still engaged. And to be honest, it's going to take him to be able to turn this around, because he's the only superstar, in my opinion, that has the ability to create, obviously Cody Walker can create magic, but Latrell Mitchell, I think he's been solid the last 2 games. So I'm not saying he's played poorly. I actually reckon he's being let down by other players. But he's the guy that's going to have to find a way to get everyone else up on his energy and his level.
We didn't mention him, but Cam McInnes a bit lazy this week, only 43 tackles.
Mate, do extra fitness
Imagine
during the
making
week.
43 tackles, and that's almost half the defensive work he did the week before.
Wild. So, yeah, I believe Latrell Mitch can. I'm still backing the Rabbitohs to make the 8. I reckon Trelly Mitt will do something special.
Matty, would you consider... it's probably a wild idea, but considering all your middles out, do you consider moving Coleman Tungy into the middle?
Well, he's played a couple of games there this year. I think he played the first Melbourne game, and he maybe shifted there another game. If Arrow's out, I guess you have to, because, as you said, I don't know what the go with Sele is either, but you're right. You got Totola, you got Sele, Burgess is suspended, possibly Arrow.
I don't think Totola or Sele is going to be named tomorrow. My understanding.
There you go. Yeah, it's definitely consideration, for sure.
What about Cam Murray? Bloody 119 runs, 172 metres, 3 tackle breaks, 47 tackles. Just worked his ass off, absolute ass off. So hopefully they can turn it around. If anyone can do it, it's a Latrell Mitchell-led Rabbitohs. As I said, the positive is you still got your number 1 player, arguably the number 1 player in the game, Latrell Mitchell, engaged in the game, running a lot, the ball a lot. It won't take much for him to be able to spark something special at the Rabbitohs.
So I am excited to see hopefully get a few extra minutes with all these forwards out. Young Tallis Duncan looks right, doesn't he?
Oh, he looks great.
That late line break he went off the kick-off was absurd. He's got some go about him.
And he's just ticker. He doesn't look that big, but he just seems strong in
It's
contact.
A few little Cam Murray vibes about him.
Yeah, I agree.
Lock, he's
I
good.
agree.
You've been shouting for a
I
while.
think I've seen, two forwards make breaks off kickoffs this year, and they've both been tallest up.
Yeah.
He must be just like slippery kind of to tackle because like he's not huge or anything.
But even like when they're chasing points and stuff, like in those 2 games where he makes those breaks off the kickoff, at his age and his experience, like, fuck, if I was in that position and they gave it to me, I'd just go, just get it to the other guys.
Yeah.
He just goes, no, I'll just take it 70
I'll do
myself. Yeah.
So hopefully Rabbitohs can turn around, but not looking good at the moment.